hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance that's bit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as good.
Aye.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty, joined tonight by Colin and John. How you doing, guys?
Good.
I'm good.
You asking? Just both of us at the same
Actually,
time?
he's both. I just thought I'll go Maverick tonight and go fuck it. I'll just throw that in and see what happens. No direct it to anybody in particular, but John, are you well?
Aye. Apart from attempting 2 college exercises earlier, and both of them failed. So a wee bit fed up with that, so I'll need to do it for a third time. Hopefully it works.
Have you considered cheating?
I don't think I can cheat. It's the ethical hacking one. So I've got a couple of...
Do
virtual
unethical
machines.
hacking and then cheating's fine.
I don't even... So they're asking me to type in a bunch of commands. I've got no idea what they mean. All I know is that whatever I've done throughout the process, it doesn't work. And it's not like you can just go delete and try it again. You need to do the whole fucking thing from scratch. I've tried to go back a couple of steps. I've tried to go back a couple of steps. Doesn't work. Need to do the whole fucking thing again.
Disaster. What about you, Colin? You all right?
I'm all right, aye. Just recovering for realising that I'm the shortest out of the Hibs podcasters
Everybody,
last night.
were you
Well,
smaller than
everybody's-
the strong opinion Hibs guys as well? I mean, if you were taller or shorter than...
I'm not taller, I'm definitely not taller, but I might be about the same as them. But when I was standing in that group, I thought, fucking hell, Landy Giants.
To be fair, even I felt small, and I can normally I feel all right about my height, but in that group, I noticed it as well.
You
To be
standing on
fair.
a basketball team or something.
Aye.
Mate,
Funny you say that. I've got a mate. He stays in Australia now, but he said that when he used to go out like drinking with me and my adopted dad, that he felt like he was in Space Jam. Like he was just like Bugs Bunny and we were the fucking mutants from outer space.
That's a nice thing for him to say, isn't it?
I know.
My pals, the mutants. We were at the derby last night. How did you find it?
I really enjoyed it. It was a good game of football. Well, it was a good attacking display for Hibs. There wasn't much for Hearts.
Football a level above them, eh? What about you, Colin?
aye, it was good. It was good. I think you're right. But I was reading the day that a lot of the Hearts team are all under 8, or 7 of them are under 18 or something. So might explain it because generally all they've done was kick out for a throw-in.
Aye.
Try and defend it, kick out for a throw-in. But if they're excellent under 18 players, then you play against fully grown adults. You're going to struggle because Boyle was excellent, wasn't she? She was the best player on the park by a mile, I think.
Aye, I thought
But
she was
there's
really
others
good.
as well, obviously. But
I thought she was run
she
pretty
plays for
close.
Scotland in that, so
Oh, does she?
aye.
I didn't realise. I was going to say the one that caught my eye as well was Amy Gallagher over on the right hand
was
side.
good.
I thought she was
Aye.
pretty good.
Mhm.
She was good. I thought that as well. And the lassie came on at left back as well. She'd never started the game. Muir, is it? Amy Muir
Aye.
or something?
She
was
did
good when
well.
she came on.
Right, well, that does for football talk.
Aye.
I think so. Eh?
It was good though. It was good.
It was-
I did enjoy it. My wee one, I took my daughter. She loved it. Like so, she likes going to football anyway, but she particularly liked seeing women playing at that level and in front of that crowd. So it was good.
Some good photos as well. Eh?
Aye, Jack Ross and Martin Boyle. Aye. So,
Yeah, superb. Right, we'll put 25 minutes on the clock there. We'll go get the timer started. Right, first question tonight comes from No Time for Wasters. What songs should the team run out to other than the regular tunes that would get the crowd going? He says, I'll start with Jump Around. What song would you have the team running out to if you could pick it yourself? John. Oh, Colin, you were going to answer. Go on.
I was just going to fill the gap. It's just I quite liked when they done Teenage Kicks, but it doesn't really fit anymore. Mind that was when
That's
they were
era
all young.
specific,
Nobody. Aye.
It is. So I was more thinking like Lust for Life or something like that. Like
That's decent one to get the crowd going. I would like them to play Lightning in the Dark, just for the Longbangers reference. Like I would have that. Or there's a Super Furry Animals song called The Man Don't Give a Fuck. I can't remember if we talked about that before, but that would be a good one to run out to as well. It's a good tune. John?
I'm not sure. I I tried to do something with this recently because there was a college football team in the States, and it was like the first time since pandemic had kicked off that they were able to come out to their song, which was House of Pain's Jump Around. And there's another college football team in America that comes out to Metallica's Enter Sandman, and it's possibly something to do with like the size of the crowd, because you know college football in the States gets like anywhere upwards of like 40,000 people, and they're all going daft, and they're usually younger folk as well, so they're probably a bit more susceptible to getting involved in that sort of stuff. So when it was a wee bit of a pipe dream trying to get folk to suggest songs maybe for Easter Road, because it's hard to suggest one thing because a lot of these things tend to grow organically, but we can't even get, it seems like we couldn't even get one of them off the ground.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you try to jump around in the West Stand, right, and I include myself in this, you're going to need a lot of paramedics. There's folk when they're landing, there's going to be ankles gone or fucking hips and all sorts.
Already fucked after climbing all these stairs
Aye.
as well, so.
Aye, because I wouldn't be able to kind of sustain a jump around these days, like, so.
Well, that's the thing, like, I think the environment, it's a really good spectacle, and it's a wee bit like the pyro displays that you see in like Dortmund and that. Everyone looks at that and goes, "That's absolutely fucking amazing." As soon as there's a smoke bomb at Easter Road, everyone's claiming that they've got asthma or bronchitis.
Again. Sit down, we could just sit down. We'll cope with that, no bother in the West.
Aye, there you go, James, sit down.
I was sorted, right. Fattest Pricker said, how cold a day in hell would it have to be before Hamilton FC are welcomed back into the Scottish Premier League? Do you harbour a grudge against Hamilton?
Not really, no.
Not especially. I've never, like, see, so from a Hibs fan's perspective, I can understand why people are like, fuck you, you relegated us, but we were shit, like, Hamilton, it could have been any team at that point, it just so happened to be Hamilton.
That's it, misery. That was what they done, wasn't it? They done
Butcher relegated us, no Hamilton, Butcher did it.
We should be thanking Hamilton. And I mean, we hate Butcher, but
imagine if
Hamilton.
he'd stayed up, he would have kept his job.
Fucking mental, eh?
Or there was every chance that might have happened, you know what I mean? So, done us a favour.
Gives me the fear that. Anyway, but they had a shite pitch, which is other things, and they weren't very good to watch either, so I'm not really rushing to welcome them back. There are better teams, I think, that would come up before them.
That chat about the shite pitches, mind it was 11-1 vote stuff and all that. We can vote them out in the summer, and never even got.
Nobody's going to do it, are they?
See, when we talk about shite pitches, like when we talk about like Livingston, Kilmarnock, I think had the plastic pitch as well, and Hamilton had one. We talk about them being shite pitches, but nobody ever really talks about like the state of some of the grass pitches, like Tynecastle. Anytime I've ever been there, it was always stinking. It was like a bog.
Aye.
You never hear anything about that because it's a shite grass pitch, not a shite plastic pitch. What's the difference?
They spent $1 million on that hybrid pitch, and they had that concert on it and fucked it straight away. Brilliant, geniuses. I was on the pitch at Starks Park today, momentarily, picking up footballs. No choring them, picking them up to be collected, kind of was meant to be there. It wasn't just thieving, but there you go. On the pitch, that's a plastic pitch. Well, mind the Vermel had one that was like fucking green carpet. It wasn't even like AstroTurf.
I was there when they opened it. Mind they had the big opening. I was at that game, and it was like we were doing quite near the front, and you could smell the rubber.
Aye, it was like carpet tiles.
It was yeah.
Was it like sniffing a magic marker? You try to get high?
No, it was like, I'm sure they'd done the big opening. I can't remember who was there, but there was somebody famous there. Like, because there was various plastic pitches opening over Europe that day, and it was like they had Ian Rush going somewhere, and they had Carl Hayes Riedler and that. They kind of had famous like strikers of not off that era, but off the previous era. Going around the pitches and say, they're good, like they're good pitches these, because UEFA or whoever paid for them. But everybody says that one was shite, and they ripped it up and did they not put another grass plastic one down after that?
I think they did. I think it's grass now, though.
I think they went back to grass, but I think they went plastic grass.
Right, Andy says, would you rather have 4 ears, one on top of each other, each side, or two noses side by side? And he's done again, you'll know, fucking, nah, it's a white screen. He has done a picture.
This is a weekly occurrence, you just coming up with your other dimensional phone where you try to show us a picture.
It's because my background's not working today. I thought it might work. Background's not loaded for whatever reason on Zoom, so fuck you, Zoom. Anyway, right, would you rather have 4 ears, one on top of each other, each side, or two noses side by side? John.
I'm going to go. Did you say was it 4 years, one stacked on top of the other?
Aye, but I imagine it's 4 in
years on each
total.
side.
So 2 years on each side.
How do you use your glasses?
No,
Sometimes I've got my glasses here. If you want, I've got my contact lenses in. But if so, I can't. When I put these on with my contact lenses, I must see what folk with normal vision see when they try your glasses on. You go, oh yeah, fucker, how do you see? That's strong as any. I don't wear them very often. They're down beside my computer in case my contact lenses get annoying. That'll no work if anyone's listening to this. They wouldn't have got what we're saying. I was putting my glasses on.
if anyone,
Just imagine.
Just
But the glasses with two noses, like that would be quite. No, two noses would get in the way. Whereas you could just hook it on the top ear.
I'd rather have. I've got hay fever, so the ears would be a better option for me because hay fever's a pain in the arse for one nose, and if you had two noses side by side, that would just be fucking horrendous.
is it two separate ears on the side of your head, or is it one ear with like two ear holes?
I think they said 2 years stacked on together.
Aye.
Top each.
So an ear and then another ear, and all that entails.
You a good listener, John?
Huh?
Correct answer. If you're a good listener like me, I didn't need any more than 2 years, so I'm going to go two noses. Fuck the glasses. Where they're going.
You ever had an earring?
Yeah.
No.
If you had 4 ears, two on each side of your head, which ear would you get pierced?
Oh,
You get both pierced nowadays anyway. You get both pierced on them.
Mine it used to be like there was a period where there was sort of, if you had a certain ear pierced, it was meant to be an indication of your sexuality.
Yeah.
I think if that was true, if it was just an urban myth, but it certainly kind of influenced where folk got their ear pierced. So I had, so it was the 90s, I had one with a cross on it as well, a hoop and a cross. It was terrible.
Who was the boy that did that?
Just Michael or something.
Dirty Den. No, it wasn't Dirty Den. It was Nick Cotton.
Nick Cotton, whenever you like that, brilliant. I
don't know which is worse, like your specs and that earring that you had.
Oh, the earring, definitely. I didn't have my ear pierced anymore, thankfully. Right, Andy says also, what's the ideal number of pints to have before moving on to a spirit?
Ideal number.
Mm-hmm.
Are we drinking pints of? Like, is it?
Whatever your tipple is,
beer,
John.
lager.
Whatever your tipple is. No milk.
Depends what mood you're in, really, doesn't it? But it's normally like, I would say after 6, 7, 8. It depends what kind of mood you're in.
I find, right, see, to stop myself being sick, the earlier I go into spirits, the better. See, if I was on 8 pints or 6 pints before I went on spirits, that I think the volume of liquid there would make me spew. If I went 4 pints and then had a vodka and coke or whatever it was I was having, and then had a pint after it, that's as a different effect. So I'll go with 4 pints, and that might make me kind of like a lightweight, but I don't care.
I was thinking 4 as well, because pints are a shift to drink. Like, don't get me wrong, like, pints are brilliant. But like, especially since shifting a bit of weight, after 2 pints now, I'm starting to feel a bit pissed. And I used to be able to drink a fair bit.
I could do a pint. I could have regretted no opening anything for this podcast tonight.
Get somebody to get one for you.
But who's got
your stuff? You got your stuff in the house, have you not?
Aye.
Just ring your little bell.
Ring, ling, ling, ling. Like that. Like, oh, he's having a heart attack again. Lazy bastard.
What sort of experience do you go to after you have your 8 pints, Colin?
So I've in the last year or so, I've kind of went on to that rum, but I was Jack Daniels before that. But I went years of not really even drinking spirits because I couldn't really find one that I liked. Like for early 20s to mid 30s, early 30s, didn't really touch a spirit. And then it was, but I'm back on to, I like that rum now.
Is it
Dead
just
Man's Fingers if you're buying. That ginger beer. That rum ginger beer.
Rum and ginger beer.
Yep.
What were you, John?
I do quite enjoy a rum. I wouldn't say no to a double brandy and coke. Trying to think what else. I'm a bit of a spirit slag, if you want to call it that. I'll just drink whatever's on offer. What are you having? Surprise me. Get me whatever.
I like a wee gin and tonic as well.
G&T's good, eh?
Just now and again, just like no, but no, I wouldn't go and buy. I wouldn't be on it all night. You know, it's like one of them. It's one of them where if you're on pints and you have a gin and tonic, or you get handed gin and tonic, it's really refreshing after a few pints.
I can do a pint gin, but I've tried and tried and tried, but I can't get into other gin. It's like drinking potpourri. It's bogging.
Did have to pick
People say,
"Oh,
that's not." What is it they say? Like that's not the gin. It's not the gin you didn't like. It's the tonic. They're both shite. Can't I get it?
Why do you not have gin and lemonade then?
That's what it's gin lemonade. It's nice. But tonic's
I quite like a gin or a vodka if I wanted the spirits. That day me. Can't have Southern Comfort. Southern Comfort was
that's been off the table for me.
Aye.
Probably
the same night, Colin. Right.
What did you two get up to? A bottle of Southern Comfort?
It was in one ball. What was that thing?
Was that at the rugby club? Portrait Rugby Club?
Mine was at the Mental Hotel. It was a 16th birthday party.
Aye.
Obviously, they badged it as an 18th. Mental Hotel Thursday night. We had school on the Friday. We spoke about it on here.
Aye, we have. Sure. I think that night I spewed in the back of Tony Duff's house. I think for the bedroom window. I think it was all doing the kitchen window when I come down in the morning. I was like, fuck, starting the window. It's like, it's directly below the room that I was sleeping in. Oops, sorry, Tony. Now, Kenny says, Colin has a very soothing voice. Any chance you could read a quick bedtime story at the end of the pod?
Aye, no problem.
Can Niall's an interesting person to be talking about soothing voices because he's got the lovely Irish lilt to his. So can we have competing bedtime stories, one for Niall and one for Colin?
It's funny he says that though, because if you say that to my wife, she'd be like, fucking, because when we have an argument, which isn't it that often, to be fair, but when we do, I don't raise my voice because I can get my point over calmly with it, but she's like, not to 60, like so she's shouting, and I'm going, didn't do the soothing voice thing, not reading the bedtime story. It almost shit makes her fucking go. I'd be so shouting back at her. If I shout back at her, she's happier. If I'm doing my calmness, it sets her off even more. So it works for some folk and not for others. Obviously, I appreciate Niall's comments here.
Aye. Just play this back a couple of times now. It'll send you to sleep anyway. Right, Liam Glanville said, whose dad would win in a fight between you lot?
Have you all still got a dad? Obviously, yours is I've still got a dad. We know who yours is. We've still got a dad, so we're not offending anybody. I don't know. I know your dad. I've met your dad. I've not met John's dad.
I've never seen my dad in a fight before.
I think both your dads would win by default against mine because I've actually got no idea where it is.
So there's no show.
Last I heard, he was in Dalkeith and he moved for there.
Well, what's the age wise we're talking then? My old man's 69.
71. Old man is
71.
Are tools of the trade allowed? Like, can Tom bring a guitar or a violin or a microphone?
My dad's a mechanic, so he can bring a big fucking spanner.
Aye. Like if
Colin's dad wins.
Aye, if you're bringing tools in it, then aye, it's one-sided.
And he's Finidry.
Aye.
So
no tools required.
Right, D Shoes says, how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if that woodchuck could chuck wood?
Definitely been asked that before.
I think we have.
I didn't get an answer. 15, did I say?
15 was the answer, I think. Fats Brickets, what were real referring to when they said like to move it, move it? Do you think they were furniture removal men?
Do you remember going to see them? Mind we went to see them in Magaluf?
Fuck, I had no idea.
BCM. They were in BCM one night when we were aye. And they sang that song, obviously, because it was at the height of that song. 1996.
Aye.
So that was the song that was featured in Madagascar, which gave it another peak.
Aye. So what do you think they were? What do you think they like to move?
I was just telling somebody to hurry up, I think.
Just to be quicker, like
move it.
to do things at a good speed, John.
I am just imagining them like writing the song while they're stuck in a traffic jam somewhere.
I reckon they're furniture removal men. I think that's where it started off, and they just
Well,
love
if
the
they
job.
like it.
Aye.
Aye, exactly. Good shout.
Charlie B said, "What's the perfect prawn to bread ratio if you sit in the west?"
I'll defer to you two on this one.
Have you ever
Yeah.
had a prawn sandwich at the football club?
Well, no, the kiosks are shut at the moment, so
Quick enough.
we've not got a chance.
0 to 0 is the ratio.
I've never seen them on sale. It's maybe something that should start doing. I do like. I didn't mind a wee prawn piece.
I would like that,
What?
actually. I would probably buy it for the sort of tongue-in-cheek, self-deprecating angle.
Sitting with a blanket over your lap.
Do you reckon?
Prawn
when he's
sandwich.
saying, when he's asking the question there and he's thinking about prawns though, is he thinking about the wee prawns that you get on a prawn sandwich, or is it like kind of if you go to a fish restaurant and they give
Or
you
the king.
prawns and they're the big fuckers you've got to pull the shell off and that?
What's the difference between a prawn and a shrimp?
Okay. You got a joke for that, like?
No, I just.
It's just you're sitting there with that face. It means he's got a shite joke.
I was trying to
Sorry,
think whether I could line up a shite joke on the back of it. And then, there's bound to be something to do with like the shell or something like that. Or, but no, I think what the difference was. I think if a shrimp is just like a really, it's like a baby one or something. Again, they look the same when they're shelled and that.
Is a shrimp to a prawn what a pickled onion is to a fully grown onion?
Maybe.
It's the body form that's different.
Is it?
Prawns have 3 pairs of
They're
like, legs.
body form. Right, so
Shrimps
which
have
one
only got
does the
one pair.
roller skating?
The female one, obviously.
Kicking about the fountains and that. Fucking brilliant. Right, Edinburgh FM says, who's taller, John or Macy?
I think that'll be John.
Macy's 6'7". John, what are you?
I'm lacking a couple of inches on that, Macy.
Right, so we can categorically we actually have a question that we've been able to fucking answer with science. Andy said, who's had more plastic surgery, Katie Price or Simon Cowell? And if you could have one piece of work done to your body, what would it be?
Do you think all the shit that they take out of Simon Cowell they inject into Katie Price or vice versa?
She's
Say
been
that
out for a
again?
little longer.
Do you think the stuff that they take out of Katie Price's body they then inject into Simon Cowell or vice versa?
Oh, you wouldn't take a chance for that, would you?
This is where I actually have a wee bit of difficulty because see when we talk about folk in their plastic surgery, you end up talking about their appearance. And I think we sort of talked about that before, like not critiquing someone's appearance, but it's really hard when someone has
Done it themselves.
Frankenstein their body.
When it's through choice, I think does that become a different kettle of fish then if you've done it through choice? Because that's not something that you can't help, is it? It's like something that you've chosen. But anyway, well, if you take the second part of the question, if you're not comfortable with it, John, if you could plastic surgerise yourself, that is a phrase, what would you do?
I'd probably get bigger tits. There was actually a boy in Vegas, I'm sure. I think he was, I don't know if he was a poker player, professional gambler or whatever, but it was a bet they made with someone. And I can't remember if it was money that he won that he then spent on breast implants or if he just won breast implants. So he got them
And just
installed.
went ahead and did
he
it.
got tits, genuinely, he got tits. I'll find the link and I'll send it on to you later on.
How soon do you think after doing that would the joke wear thin? Kim, you done it and you go, that's fucking funny as hell. It's like I had a boy work beside him at HSBC who changed his name, right?
He changed his name to tits.
Not to tits, right? He changed his name to Von Danger Swift, right?
Fuck off.
Right? Von Danger Swift, right? So he could tell folk Danger was his middle name. Right? And his name wasn't Von or Swift either, by the way. He changed the whole fucking lot.
Tell me you're a virgin without telling me you're a virgin.
Exactly, right? And you folk were like, oh, that's funny as hell. And you're going, well, it's not that fucking funny, is it? And very quickly, as an adult, that is going to wear thin pretty quick. And I
It's not
wonder
worth it.
if the boy who got the tits was like, because his mates would be like, oh, that's fucking hilarious, you've done it. And then after about 2 days, he's
Aye.
gone, I wish I'd done that.
As a man, if you get breast implants, is playing with your own tits a wee bit like giving yourself a blowjob? Like, is it in the same sort of ballpark? Would you do it? Is it pleasurable,
You would definitely do it. But
or is it a bit? Is it
blowjob.
pleasurable but a bit questionable at the same time? I'm not sure if I should be doing this, but I'm not sure I can stop either.
well, what's the difference between having a wank? Because that's effectively what you're doing. Well, no, obviously giving yourself a blowjob. You don't have to get a rib removed to have that, to be able to do that. I think that was a rumour
Aye,
as well.
It was a rumour, wasn't it? Was it
Aye,
no Boy Erasure or something? Was that
Aye,
another rumour?
somebody said
Aye.
that happened.
Oh, they said that about Prince as well. I was just going to say, like the 80s, the 90s were brilliant for urban legends.
Yeah.
If you could, would you
Have a rib removed, or
give yourself a gam?
I think I would. I think it's quite dirty.
could you imagine the argument you and your missus would have if she came in, found you gave yourself a gam?
How would-
Try to explain that.
How would you try and pass? What would you excuse me? I was just trying to see my bum. I wasn't doing that. I just wanted to see my bum. Fuck's sake. Anyway, what plastic surgery would you do? John, you said tits, call him.
I'd probably go liposuction or a hair transplant.
Aye, I'd get an extra set of ears. Right, on top of the ones I've got. Dorlessa said, if you came home from work and found your wife in bed with your favourite Hibs player, who would it be, past or present? And he's meaning the player, not your wife. Like, obviously, you can't know who your wife is. Who gets a pass?
I'd give. I don't know if he's my favourite player, but he'd give like McGregor a pass just because of how he looks and that. So it strokes your ego, and you think, well, at least she's fucking going up the ladder. Eh? Come on, man.
Who's down the ladder?
You would find it hard to say no, to be fair.
There's Darren McGregor and there's everyone else.
Pretty much. In my eyes,
Tend to agree.
I think virtually on the cup final, like the cup winning squad, maybe no the subs. Kind of like if it was Dagnall, you'd be like,
I was going to say Dagnall or somebody stood said,
aye, you'd be like,
"Who the
well,
fuck are you again? Recognise you, mate. Man.
again, you're still that wee piece of history, but come on, eh? So, what about you, John?
Past or present? Wait, was it? It was past or present, wasn't it? Wasn't it just past?
Yeah, past or present.
Present, I'd maybe go for Kevin Nisbet to see if the wife could tell the difference.
So you put the weight on. That's
That's what you think. Paul Mackay said, what's the weirdest question you've been asked on Bangers? That's a good question, because we've been asked some fucking mental stuff on here.
I make a point of trying to answer every single question that we get asked, no matter how outrageous, dodgy, whatever. But the one that really, really threw us was the one about being or finding yourself inside your mum and your dad's inside you, and whether you move backwards or forwards to get off.
Oh, you struggled with that one, eh? I remember it.
It's funny. I wasn't the one I was thinking. I think I was doing it then. But the one last week we got asked at the very beginning of the show. It was like the boy saying he's a new listener. It was for your mate.
Oh,
John.
yeah.
Your dad or your mum, everybody kens.
Aye.
Everyone knows you've
It's your
pumped your mum, or maybe knows that you
I know
pumped
your
your dad.
dad. Aye, that one. That's weird. Aye, that one. That's pretty weird.
I always think that the one that sticks in my mind was the Doug with the human heat like that. That's my favourite question that we've had on here, just because of the images of that, because of the way that my head works. I thought about that for fucking ages. I still do for time to times, especially now having a dog. I think, what would it be like if that had a wee human heat on it?
Any time I think about it, it's like it's a really small dog, but it's got the baby's head from Toy Story. You know, the one that's got like the eye taken out. It's just got like the wee sort of sprouts of hair and stuff.
Aye. There have been loads of weird questions that we've been asked. I think there was one that they asked us. Oh fuck! It was like a football one, but they asked us as if we were in charge of something. Do you know? It was like, why? What should Hibs do? Or like, fuck, what was the question?
Was that about the energy drinks?
Maybe, or was like, why do Hibs do this? I don't whatever thing it was, and we were fucking no idea. Do you know, like, why are you asking us? Like, we're not responsible for it. We've not got a clue. Sometimes I find questions like that weird. But I like the ones where it's like, what would you like this? And it's something totally surreal, because that just pickles my head. Like, I'll think about those ones for ages. I was talking to a guy at work who said that he was reading something about folk who kind of visualize things. Do you know, like if I said to you, right, well, imagine like you described there, like I dug a human head, and you said, oh, it looks like this, and you were able to describe it. There are people apparently who didn't have that. Like the brains just work differently, so they'll do something different with that process. And
is that the one about the internal narrative that people have?
Aye, so it's a similar thing. So, like, do you hear? Was it your inner monologue, right? And do you hear yourself talking? But and some people don't. So some people do, and then other people don't.
Aye, but it must be. It's hard to imagine not hearing or seeing or whatever it is that goes on inside, or like trying to imagine the opposite of what we experience in our heads. Because for me, it is dialogue. It is like pictures and whatnot. It's not processes. It's not instinct or anything like that.
Aye, but apparently, so we were talking about it. Obviously, we didn't care anybody like that, but it's like this is because we were talking about. I was talking about it. I kind of do dates and things like that, right? So we were talking about how different we were, and he was like, we were in a meeting, was talking about all these things that were happening down the line, and I was like, going, fucking hell, how do you remember that detail just off the top of your head? Because literally, I could say, right, see you on Saturday, I'm doing going for lunch at whatever, and I would not think about that until Saturday came, and then I'd be like, right, I'm doing this today, and it would kind of register then. But I wouldn't be. I could quite easily plan other things to happen on that Saturday, totally forgetting that it was coming down the line. I need to write stuff down or have it up on calendars or anything and check it before I arrange something, because I'm fucking hopeless at it. Whereas he was like bang, 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 and we were talking about that, and then somebody had done one of these personality tests, you know, where you get you're a blue or a green or a yellow or a red, like insights or something it's called. So we were talking about that and the way different folks' brains worked, and then that some people didn't. Well, some people have the inner monologue and other people don't. Then other people can't visualize things, and that's, you know, whereas some people can. I was like, that blew my mind. I just couldn't imagine not being able, because my head, as soon as I think of something, there's like an image, and generally quite a surreal image to go along with it. Anyway, weird questions. I think that was where that came from. What was the weirdest question? I was out of time for this episode anyway. So thanks for listening. We'll be back with another one pretty much fucking immediately after this. So take care. We'll see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink what I know.